Dear Ukrainians and friends of Ukraine, as we gather on this solemn anniversary, 3 years since Russia launched its full-scale invasion, and 11 years when Russia invaded and illegally occupied Ukraine's Crimea and Donbas regions, we remember the tens of thousands of Ukrainians who have lost their lives or have been wounded protecting Europe from Russia's criminal war. For years, the Kremlin and its apologists have spread lies, calling it a civil war, delegitimizing Ukraine's democratically elected leaders, spreading lies about corruption and blaming the war on the West. But we know the truth. Let's call it what it is. It is Russia's full-scale invasion, occupation, and destruction of Ukraine and the rules-based international order. This is Russian aggression, and Russia must be defeated and brought to justice. For centuries, Russia has sought to erase Ukraine, to crush our language, our culture, our very identity. Today, they continue this brutal campaign under the ideology of Russism, Russian imperialism and chauvinism combined. But they have failed. They have failed because Ukraine fights. Ukraine is united and resilient, and Ukraine will prevail. We must be absolutely clear. Russia will not stop unless it is defeated. There is no peace without victory. Ukraine must restore its internationally recognized borders. This is our right enshrined in the United Nations Charter. No tyrant can be allowed to redraw borders by force. No ally should pressure Ukraine to surrender. We as Ukrainians and freedom-loving people must never allow lawlessness and brutality to prevail. Putin will never stop. His goal is not just Ukrainian land. He wants to erase Ukrainians as a nation. His so-called demilitarization is about making us defenseless. His so-called denazification is a mask for genocide. And let's be clear, his ambitions do not stop at Ukraine's borders. If Ukraine falls, Europe is next. This is not just Ukraine's fight. This is a fight for the future of freedom. The crimes of Russia are unspeakable. They have stolen our land, our homes, and even our children. If you doubt the evil of this war, watch the new documentary, Children in the Fire, by Yevgeny Afanevsky. It exposes the horrors, the systemic kidnapping, torture, and abuse of Ukraine's most vulnerable, its children. This is not a conflict where deals can be made. You cannot negotiate with someone who seeks to destroy you. For Ukrainians, this is a matter of life and death. And they have made their choice. They choose to live. They choose to fight. They choose freedom. We as the Ukrainian World Congress and as the global Ukrainian community and friends of Ukraine around the world will do whatever it takes to ensure victory. We must recognize a harsh reality. Peace comes only through strength. That is why we must continue to provide Ukraine with the military, economic, and political support necessary to win. Yet today we face a troubling moment. For the first time since Russia's full-scale invasion, the United States has begun to waver. This week, the U.S. refused to co-sponsor a United Nations resolution condemning Russia's war. This is unacceptable. Now more than ever, the world must stand united. Ukraine's fight is the world's fight. Today, Ukraine stands as a real and stable democracy, with President Zelensky holding an approval rating of over 55%, and every major opposition party agreeing to postpone elections until after Ukraine's victory. But what about Russia? Putin has ruled for 25 years by jailing and murdering his opponents. He is not a leader, he's a dictator. Putin is the illegitimate president of Russia. The only option for peace in Ukraine and Europe is to defeat Putin. Despite everything Ukraine has endured, for 3 years, our heroes in the front lines have defied one of the world's largest armies. Their strength is bolstered by the unwavering support of our partners, governments, organizations, and countless volunteers who give everything for Ukraine. To them we say, we are eternally grateful. Дякую. And let us never forget the true heroes of this war, the brave defenders of Ukraine, the armed forces of Ukraine, ЗСУ, the men and women who risk their lives every day to defend their homeland, their families, and the future of Ukraine. We honor you. We thank you. You are the shield of Europe, and you will prevail. But our work is not done. We must double our efforts. We must secure Ukraine's victory. We must ensure a just and lasting peace, not just for Ukraine, but for all who cherish freedom and democracy around the world. Together, we will prevail. Together, we will win. Slava Ukraini!